Alrighty, so I made my copper sulfate solution. I just have it on the top of my Bunsen burner. So we're gonna watch it for a few minutes until it starts to boil. Doesn't take very long, but I'm gonna pause it and then I'll come back when it's boiling. Alrighty, so this is starting to boil. So it says heat it until it begins to boil and then turn off the burner. Use the tongs to move the beaker to the countertop. So we're gonna turn off our gas. And then take our beaker, move it to the countertop. Try and get that in a good spot. Then it says, use the beaker tongs to move the countertop. Add the iron filings a little at the time to the hot copper sulfate solution. So if you look at this, this is like dark, just like a powdery kind of stuff. Oh, there's the bell. So I'm going to add this a bit, just a bit at a time. I'm going to give it a little swirl. And then it says, after the reaction is, well, no, not yet. So we give it a little swirl. And then it asks, how can you tell the reaction is taking place? Well, just looking in here, there's not a bunch of things that show us that it's happening. Now, sometimes we look for bubbles, sometimes we look for different things, and I'll show you at the end, but we are starting from I don't know if you can see it or not, from a brownish kind of powder to a reddish. So it's going from iron to copper. So that's what we are trading. So if you think back to when we did the activity series, that we are swapping iron and copper for the copper sulfate. So we are making copper and iron sulfate. So our two metals are swapping. Now part of it says that you add a detergent solution because what happens is the copper sits on the top. And so this little bit of soap, that was a little extra, but that's okay. That little bit of soap makes it so that it sinks. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to rinse it 3 times to try and make it clean. We're going to try to get all of the blue liquid, so the blue copper sulfate, we're going to try to get rid of that. And so we're going to take, this is just a waste container. And so if we take this, we're going to try and really gently, really carefully, so we don't lose any of the little specks. We're going to try to, I have one at the edge there, so we're going to try and get around that. We're going to spill that in there. So I'm trying to carefully not get any of the copper out. But what's happening is there's little like bits of it, and so I'm trying to get just the liquid out, and so I have to like stop before it all spills out. So then it tells you in the instructions, so rinse this 3 times. So all we're doing is we're getting the excess copper sulfate off, and so when we measure the solid at the end, we're getting as pure of the copper that we can. Now I'm putting this waste into this little beaker because these are metals and we can't put them down the sink. Just give it a little swirl. So just rinsing it off, trying to make it as clean as I can and get rid of all that. Now, lead sulfate. I lost a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. I'm not perfect. And so now we have just copper in there. And so I need to light my Bunsen burner again. And then it says, heat the beaker of the copper gently to dryness. So I gotta turn my beaker or my Bunsen burner back on. Let me just put this up here and then we wait. And so we heat it and it just evaporates the water. So you probably can't see it. I'll show you when we're done. So we're gonna wait for this and we're just heating. And so there's a little bit of copper in there, and then we're gonna heat off the water, and then it'll be dry copper, and then we'll weigh it. So I'm gonna pause it just for a sec. All right, so I heated it and I got off all the extra water, and so I just have some copper in here. So this, it looks like a little powder. It's like a reddish powder. So I'm gonna take the mass of this, and so on the front of your paper it says mass of the beaker plus the copper, and so it's 49.21, and then you'll have to figure out the difference between the dry beaker and the copper. That gives you the mass of your copper. If you flip to the next, onto page 52, it has a little table. In class, we took a class average. The class average for the mass of copper was 0.63 grams. So if you put that on there, and then go ahead and answer all the questions, and then give it to me. That's it.